Hey, welcome back to Matt's Garage DIY. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new piece of gear, or at least new for me, plasma lighter. So the plasma lighter that I picked up is from SOL. Top pops open. It's got 4 little probes that make a little X shape. There are other versions that just have 2 probes on top. As well, this one comes with a flashlight on the end with a high, low, and strobe function. Anyways, we got some snow outside today, so I thought looks like a good time to dig up some materials, see what light, what won't, how well this thing actually works. Once we're done here, we'll go back to the farm. We'll maybe try a couple more of the sort of the standard things like some jute twine and that sort of stuff. But let's see what we can find out here in the snow. One of the things I didn't mention was that the makers of the plasma lighters claim that they are windproof. You do have a bit of wind today, nothing too crazy, about 10 miles an hour. So there's a look at the top, and then when I depress the button, not sure how well you can see that. We do have some probes, or we do have those probes kind of giving out that plasma flame. Let's try some dry grass. So just kind of getting this, picking it above the snow. So one of the things with these plasma lighters you'll find out right away is it won't actually dry the material for you. There's a very kind of concentrated heat source. So I'm going to try this here. Bottom. Yeah, it kind of starts, doesn't really keep going. So unlike a lighter or a match, where you can sort of hold that there and keep the whole thing going, with this, I think you basically have to, almost like building a bit of a bird's nest. So when I kind of put that heat source to it, kind of get the bottom going, I kind of need the rest of the material to be in place so that that flame, there we go, will sort of continue through, keep the whole thing going. Although this is windproof, this is not. All right, so we've got this down low, a little bit more sheltered down here. See what we can do. Yeah, there we go. So as soon as I get the grass out of the wind, lighter does the trick right away. Next up, we're going to try a little bit of a feather stick. Just found a twig, got a little bit of feathering on it. Let's see how that works. Yep, takes a minute, but then lights up quite nicely. Now we're going to try a bit of wet grass. I'm just going to dig in here, kind of underneath the snow. This is pretty terrible, actually. Soaking wet with all the snow on top of it. Let's see if this will light up. So doesn't really seem to work with wet material. Obviously, you know, any kind of lighter source or lighting source would struggle. Lighters and matches work the best because they do have sort of that initial heat of their own where they can dry the material, right? But if you're using a ferro rod or something like that, it's going to struggle. You're basically going to be impossible to get something like this going. So that is probably one of the problems with this, is that this does not seem to work on wet material. So talking about wet, I just packed the top of this with a bunch of snow. Obviously, that's not an ideal situation, but if it happens, is this thing still going to work? Yep. Not sure how well that shows up, but I got my nice blue Plasmax going right away. So, if it gets wet, if it gets snow, just kind of dry it off, brush it off, and then right away this will fire right back up. All right, that's about it for outside. Let's head inside and see what we can try inside. So we're back inside at the farm. We're going to try a couple of the common or more common emergency tinders that people carry with them. So we've got some jute twine rubbed with Vaseline. I have one of these little makeup removing pads that has been dipped in a mixture of kerosene and candle wax. I have some paracord. This is actually the emergency paracord. It has a wick, although this one's not red. That is the waxed wick. So we're going to try both the wick as well as just the paracord fibers. And then I have some 1-inch Gorilla Tape up here on my pack of matches, so I'm going to tear off a piece of that as well. And we'll see how well each of these light with the plasma lighter. First up, the makeup removing pad. I'll just tear off a little chunk of that. You can see this quite fibery, mixed with wax and kerosene. I made this up about 6 months ago. Just keep it in a little Tupperware container. Lights up instantly. Next up, the survival paracord. We will light the waxed wick first. There you go. Lights, takes a second to get going, but definitely lights up. Now for the paracord fibers themselves. Just kind of fray the end of that a little bit. Let's see what happens. All right, I think you'll be able to make that work. Try this one more time here. Yeah, doesn't burn as well as the wick, but certainly gets the job done. And once it starts going, you'd be able to get a fire going with that. Third, we're going to try the jute twine rubbed with Vaseline. Lights right up. No concerns with that. This has been wrapped up for well over a year and lights up instantly. So that works really well with this lighter. Now for some Gorilla Tape or duct tape. Again, lights up instantly. So there you have it, the SOL plasma lighter. Wasn't really sure initially, but quite impressed actually with the way that this has held up. They say or claim 100 lights on a charge. I've used this a whole bunch of times, both today and throughout the week. I'll take their word for it. I haven't sat there and lit this 100 times. As well, as I mentioned, it's got the battery with the high, low, and strobe. So it's going to replace, kind of some of those maybe heavy-duty windproof matches. No, but I think this is a great option for having just thrown something in your pocket. Probably comparable to a Bic lighter, except that this is rechargeable. So basically only have to ever buy this once. Anyways, there you have it. Hope you liked it. That's the latest and greatest from Matt's Garage DIY. And as always, stay tuned for my next video.